The Dragon Ball franchise that started in manga in 1984 and something that still carries on to this current day. And in that time it's had 4 anime TV series: Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and of course the current series, Dragon Ball Super. Now, 2 of these were absolutely brilliant. Dragon Ball was brilliant. Dragon Ball Z shot through the roof and it turned anime from a late night sort of secretive thing to watch to something that was mainstream, even though Dragon Ball Super is still on late night TV. But there's the black sheep of the family, and that's Dragon Ball GT. So what we're on about to talk about today is 10 things that could have made Dragon Ball GT better. Number 10, not copy Dragon Ball too closely. So the idea of behind Dragon Ball GT was to actually go back and replicate what they accomplished in Dragon Ball. On paper, it probably was a good idea. However, they tried too closely, especially with the first saga, the Black Star Dragon Ball saga. They literally were just copying. It was a copy and paste job. Even one of the episodes was literally a replica of the first episode when Oolong appeared, where a village is terrorized by a shapeshifter and one of the gang has to dress up as a woman. It was so bad that even Goku in this particular episode turned around and just went, "Not doing that again." On paper it was a good idea, but the problem is they copied it too much. The potential was there, they just didn't really utilize it. Number 9, not making Goku the central character. Now this has been said quite a few times about Goku being the central character in Dragon Ball GT. Did he need to be? No, he didn't. Especially in the first saga, the 3 of the heroes go off into space to find the Black Star Dragon Balls. Did Goku need to be one of them? No, he didn't really. I mean, you could have had any other combinations of any of the cast. It could have worked and probably would have worked a little bit better. Two examples. You could have had the 3 children of the main characters, e.g. Gohan, Goten, and Trunks going off. Or, and this is my personal preference, and I think this would have worked better, is Gohan, Goten, and Pan. They would have been my 3. 2 of the children from the old crew, plus the newest member of the team. It could have worked so much better. And it's the same in the second saga, in the baby saga. Did Goku really need to be in that? Not really. It probably would have been better if Baby actually took on Goku rather than Vegeta. That would have opened up so many more interesting storylines. You could have had Trunks going for it, trying to take over his mentor. You could have had Gohan trying to take on his father. Or, and I think this would have actually worked so much better, Vegeta actually for once fighting Goku, but this time Vegeta's on the side of good. That would have actually made a hell of a lot better storytelling. That would have made something more better to watch. And also the fans, even at this point, have been crying out for a bad Goku. Yes, we did finally get that in Dragon Ball Super with Goku Black, but still, the potential was still there in Dragon Ball GT. Didn't quite touch it. Super Android 17. This actually did get the Goku ratio a bit right. They took Goku out of the picture and had everyone else cracking on, and Goku coming in at the last minute to save the day. That was actually fine, a bit stereotypical, but fine, that sort of worked, but also meant the other characters had their chance to shine. The last saga, the Shadow Dragon saga, this one was the only saga out of the 4 sagas in Dragon Ball GT that Goku needed to be the main character. It was his story. This was perfect for him. Out of the whole thing, this had to be Goku. Also had probably the best ending. Number 8, Super Saiyan 4. Now, luckily this one's been completely and utterly removed thanks to Dragon Ball Super, along with the rest of Dragon Ball GT. But yes, the Super Saiyan 4. It did have a brilliant, and I mean brilliant introduction. Probably one of the best introductions out of all the Super Saiyan forms. Probably except for Super Saiyan God. But that being said, the design of it, no, did not look good. Really did not look good. And I know some people out there like it. I think Super Saiyan 4 is a bit like Marmite. You either love it or hate it. There isn't an in-between. And unfortunately, I am on the side of hating it. Number 7, not a long enough gap between Z and GT. Now, Dragon Ball Z finished on the 31st of January 1996 in Japan and 7th of April 2003 in the US. Dragon Ball GT started on the 7th of February 1996, 1 week later, and the 14th of November 2003. So that had about a 6-month gap. Mainly because the US didn't actually show the first saga. That shows how bad that was. This actually probably hurt GT. There was no gap, there was no space to like mull and miss it. That's something that helped Super that much more, was that gap. GT didn't have that and it did suffer. Personally, I think minimum at least a year between Z and GT would have helped, but they didn't do that. It was literally straight from one to the other. And yes, I think that's one. They didn't do that, it could have helped. Number 6, too many changes. Now, too many changes. Yes, this is an iffy one, and it probably could have worked if number 7 was into play, but it wasn't. And yes, there was too many changes to the characters. For example, Vegeta himself was more of a middle-aged, grumpy old man with a moustache. Yes, the moustache disappeared before the end of GT, but it was just a bit too much change. As I said, if they were, for number 7 there was a gap, the changes probably wouldn't have made that much of a difference, but it did hurt GT. In fact, so much so, IGN, when they did their review of Dragon Ball GT, they called some of these changes goofy. Take that how you will, but yeah, the changes didn't help. Also, there was changes in the animation. I can't put my finger on it, but there were drastic changes between Z and GT. Now, if you did look at the first episode of Z to the last episode of Z, there was change in animation, but it was slow and gradual, and nobody noticed. But there was just that too much changes. If there wasn't that many changes and it felt like a continuation of Z, same again, it wouldn't have hurt its chances as much. Number 5, no Toriyama. Now, this is quite common knowledge that Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, he was involved in the planning of GT, and that was it. His presence is actually missed in the stories. I think that's one of the reasons why Super works so well, because Toriyama's in it. It's very hard to put what GT's actually missing. And yes, I will put that down to Toriyama's writing skills. The most common answer is missing his humour. I can see where they're coming from, but there are other things missing as well. I will leave that one up to you. But same again, GT would have been a lot better if Toriyama was a little bit more involved in GT. No manga. Now, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z both were copied directly from the manga, and Dragon Ball Super also does have a manga series running alongside it, although the manga came out a bit after Super, but at least it carried it on and it had that market there to sort of help it out. Dragon Ball GT did not have that, and I do think that actually hurt it. Even if they copied the way that Super's now currently do it, it could have helped. It could have just kept that fan base there a little bit, but it didn't. It was out on its own. Also, when it comes to episodes with no manga, some of the Dragon Ball Z filler episodes weren't as good because stuff was missing. The Garlic Jr. saga, for an example. If the manga was there, yes, that fan base would have probably stayed, but because it wasn't, I think they lost a lot because of that. Number 3, been on too long. At this point in the game, when GT started, Dragon Ball in some form had been on TV for 11 years running. Now, Japanese anime runs slightly different from live action. At least with live action, you have gaps in between seasons. Japanese anime didn't. With the exception of special occasions, special events, it was on every single week. So you had 11 years, week in and week out, of some sort of Dragon Ball. Basically, you had a bit of fatigue from it, so people were getting bored of doing it. Hell, even Toriyama was actually getting bored of actually doing the manga at this point. Same again, I know we covered on this earlier, but there was no gap. We needed a break from Dragon Ball to entice us. That's one of the things why Dragon Ball Super was so popular when it came back. Number 2, too many people switched off halfway through. Okay, so I'm actually guilty of this one myself. When I watched GT for the first time when it was broadcast here in the UK, I got bored and didn't watch all of it. I got about 5-6 episodes in, and that was it. Now, when I was older and I rewatched the entire franchise from Dragon Ball all the way up to GT, same again, I found the Black Star Dragon Ball saga a little bit boring and I struggled with it, but I ploughed through it, and I'm glad I did. The second half of the series was absolutely fantastic, starting from the Super Android 17 saga, going on to the Shadow Dragon saga. Believe me, if you haven't watched those two sagas, just go and watch those two. They're brilliant. But this is the thing, because especially the Black Star Dragon Ball saga and going on to the Baby saga, it wasn't as good. People switched off. They didn't come back. Star Trek Enterprise, bizarrely enough, was also guilty of the same thing. The first two series wasn't that good, but the last two series were absolutely fantastic, but not as many people were watching them anymore. Dragon Ball GT is the same. More people gave it a chance, it could have finished on such a high note. Number 1, young Goku. Obviously, this was going to be number 1 on the list. Did they need to make Goku a kid again? Probably not. There was no real logic to it, except for one thing, and this is where the whole series failed. They were trying to replicate Dragon Ball, and in their mind, their way of replicating it was to actually have Goku a kid again. If they wanted to do that, they should have just remade Dragon Ball, started again from scratch, but they didn't. They wanted to do a continuation, but with Goku a kid, and it failed. It backfired tremendously. That's not what us as fans wanted. We wanted to see the continuing adventures of Goku and his friends. We wanted to see the rivalry, or now brotherhood, between Goku and Vegeta. Something we have got with Dragon Ball Super. I just can't see why they did it. It was just a bad decision. Whoever came up with that idea needs to be shot. Would this series been as bad as if Goku was an adult? Maybe so, but it wouldn't have been as bad, especially with the Shadow Dragon saga. If you watch that, the only flaw with that saga is Kid Goku. If Goku was an adult, that would probably be one of the better sagas in the whole Dragon Ball series. Would have been high above a lot of the Dragon Ball Z sagas. It just, see, it's frustrating. I've got a script and all this, and it's still frustrating me now about Goku being a kid. It was just uncalled for, really uncalled for. So there you have it. That's my list of 10 things that could have made Dragon Ball GT better. What do you think? What's your opinions? Leave them in the comments below. I'll look forward to actually seeing them all. But luckily, in hindsight, we had Dragon Ball Super, which actually picked up the slack. And I know it's due to finish soon in the US. It's only just started in the UK. However, I've been watching it on other websites, so I'm pretty much up to date with the American side of things. So, there we have it. If you like this video, hit the like button. Please share it with your friends and get them to have their opinions as well. If you want to keep up to date with other videos, please hit the subscribe button, or just check out what my latest video is right here, and I'll be back to you very soon with another video. Thank you very much for your time. Bye-bye.